Ah! Ah! Ah!
Is that what we're using?
It's sure. Why not?
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome to Screen Weens, episode 23, Revenge of the Sith. This is the... Oh, what the fuck?
What?
This is the 23rd episode, and this should be premiering December 23rd.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
That's gonna blow Pierre's
We
mind
should have
when
watched
he hears
number
this.
23, starring Jim Carrey, for this.
Does that... I don't remember that movie having any Christmas qualities.
No, it's about the 23rd, or like the 23rd number, though.
We had one opportunity and we let it slip.
Ah, fuck. Okay, we're gonna pause the episode. We're gonna go watch the number. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I remember that movie not being too good.
Yeah, I like Jim Carrey in it. I think he's pretty good and, more dramatic roles.
Yeah, I like him more as a dramatic actor, too.
Like,
he just has to find the right
I
material.
think Truman Show's relatively dramatic. It's still got comedic elements.
Yeah.
But it's a sad movie.
It's a good movie, though.
Eternal Sunshine. Same thing. Also still has those comedic elements.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever done... Like, number 23 is probably one of the few that's like a pure... Like, that one's like a thriller.
Yeah.
And it was okay. He's good in it.
Yeah.
I told you my brother got super obsessed with the number 23 after that movie.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. And then he would see it everywhere. To the point that I think, like, one of the first licenses he got was, like, one of the number sequences was, like, 2323.
Oof.
And then I moved here, and my apartment was 23, and I sent it to him, and he's like, no. It's happening again.
Not again. Oh.
So it's only been, 4 days since we recorded?
Yeah. Not too incredibly long.
But,
Since we watched all those awesome
all those
Rankin and Bass
awesome movies.
and the Disney.
I can definitely say this week was much more enjoyable for me, at least.
Yeah, I'd say it was, compared to last week, much more enjoyable.
Masterpieces compared to last week.
Yeah.
So before we get down, you know the drill. We're going to talk about what other things we watched this week. It's only been a couple days, but I mean, I watched a lot of things, and you just said right before the podcast, oh, so much Star Trek.
Yeah, I said it just like
Is that a
that.
good impression of you?
Probably, I don't know. I don't know what I
Okay,
sound like.
so take it away. How was Star Trek The Next Generation? I'm guessing you were still doing that? Or
Yeah.
were you watching any other movies?
No, I didn't watch any of the other movies. I just watched the entirety of season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation. And, yeah, it's pretty bad. But, I mean, I found it enjoyable. They were planting seeds for characters. I liked the characters enough to kind of carry me through it, but the plots are really bad in most of them, and it has, like, a common problem where it's, like, you'll be starting the episode, and it'll get about, like, to the point where there's 10 minutes left in the episode, and they've been, like, building up to something. And then you're like, oh, this is finally starting to get interesting, this episode. And then you look at the runtime, and you're like, oh, they're going to have to resolve this in, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is not going to be good. So that's kind of my big problem with the season so far. And I'm a little bit into season 2. I haven't watched as much in the last couple days, because I was hanging out with Lucero and your sister yesterday, and then
Oh, nice.
yeah, and then
It's pretty epic.
yeah, tonight I was watching those movies for the podcast today. So
Oh, fresh in your mind.
yes, unfortunately, for one
Uh-oh.
of them, I didn't like one of them.
Okay, I'm like, whoa. We just get it. Thomas is just like, I hated them all. Yeah. So, mostly that's it, right? Just Star Trek?
Yeah,
Cool. I started rewatching the Star Wars stuff. Me and Pierre watched episode 1 and 2 and then Julia joined us for the Clone Wars animated movie, and then she watched episode 3 with us, and then my friend Axie, her fiance, soon to be husband. That's very soon. Congratulations!
Yeah,
congratulations! Woo! He joined us for episode 3. Solo.
Oh, okay.
Episode 3. So we watched 5 of those, and I only got 7 more to go, I think. I got Rogue One, episode 4, Holiday Special.
Oh, God.
Episode 5, episode 6, Ewok 1 and 2.
Oh, you're
7 and 8. I'm finally gonna do them.
Huh.
I'm finally gonna see where Teek's at.
Oh, man. It's gonna be...
Oh, I feel like I will not like the first one, but I feel like my love of Teek will ride me through the second one.
I had one of them on, like, VHS growing up, and it was the one that has, like, the 2 little kids.
I think that's the first one, and I think the second one has one of those little kids again.
I liked it when I was a kid.
Whoa. And our tastes, our tastes now aren't really similar, but... Well, they're kind of similar. But you as a kid and me now, maybe we're the exact same person.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So I watched those. I did go and see Jumanji 4.
How was it?
I liked it. It's better than the first Jumanji, as in the old one with Robin Williams. It's not as good as Zathura. It's not as good as Jumanji 3. It was like a fine movie. I enjoyed it. I had some fun.
Yeah.
And then I watched Black Christmas, which was...
Bad?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, my
saw
God.
That
Oof. Oof, man.
I took one look at that poster, and I'm like...
I'm really down for, female empowerment movies and female, centered films. That's fine. But it's just,
I just hate...
insultingly bad how, it's insulting how badly written all the women are in it. I'm like, how the fuck did a woman write this? Has she ever talked to any other women?
Probably not.
And it was God, it was bad. It was really fucking boring, too. And it was 90 minutes.
Oh.
I'm like, how is this dragging on so long? And Carrie Ellis is in it.
Who?
The Princess Bride man.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
And he's just fucking awful in it, too. He's a pretty good actor. But,
yeah,
his post-Princess Bride stuff, he gets fucked over a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. He
was okay in Saw.
Yeah, he was alright.
But I'm just I want to see him in... I think he was in, if I remember correctly, he's in Stranger Things season... whatever just happened, 3. He's pretty bad in that as well.
I didn't watch that one.
It's not good. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't think I would like it, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so I watched those. Oh. That may be it. Let me see. In my little bag of tricks. Yeah, that looks like it's pretty much it.
All right.
And then I watched, caught up with Mandalorian and High School Musical, the series.
Oh, nice.
And I just caught up with Encore, because I'm really enjoying that show. It's fun. It's really sad.
Encore?
That's the one, it's the reality series about, high school theater performers coming back together and reenacting their play from 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Most of the last one was about this guy who was in Oklahoma, and he was one of the main characters, and he had a bunch of dance numbers, and he was he loved dance and he did it all the time, and he's in a wheelchair now, and I'm just Jesus Christ.
Huh.
And another guy in that same episode was like, yep, I got really addicted to drugs right after high school and thought I was gonna die, and now I own a septic company.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa, I've never seen someone so excited to work with septic stuff.
Hey,
but he was just like, I love my job.
Huh.
He's like, it's really gross to like put the tube down and, you know, suck up all the shit, but it's also really like fun to look at. There's something like satisfying on it, which I get. You know, I watch things that I don't know if I would like it, but I get where he's coming from. It's kind of a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But I'm like, good for you, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well,
Jimmy Septic.
someone's got to do it.
That's true.
Thanks, Jimmy.
We should start a septic company.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to play in other people's shit. Oh, yes.
And yeah, that, I believe, is everything I watched. And then I've been playing, like, Halo, because the Master Chief Collection's out on PC.
Oh, nice.
Well, Reach is out specifically. They're doing a delayed launch and launching them all over the next, like, year.
Oh, that is dumb.
Yeah, but...
Like, I don't like that.
Because Reach is the only one that's ready. They're like, we're just gonna release one in, like, 2 months, and then 2 months, and I'm like, whatever. I wanted to play Reach the most, so this is fine, I guess.
Well, it's no wonder that Xbox is why Xbox is the kind of lesser of the two console.
I don't know. It seems to be it works pretty well. The nice thing is you can buy Reach just separately for $10 if you don't want to get the whole collection.
Oh, that's
pretty good. But yeah, it's funny. A lot of people playing. It reminds me of back in the day. It's going to be back to high school, which I'm feeling mixed about because I don't like high school. But I did like playing Halo.
Oh, there you go.
And I've been playing Tabletop Simulator. I'm playing lots of board games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. It is time
For the questions?
for Pierre time.
Let's see what Pierre's got for us this week.
Question. Do you guys eat in the theater? If so, what would you say is the best thing to drink / eat / consume when watching a movie?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs?
Soda. Probably. I don't know. I don't like popcorn anymore.
I don't either. I like fucking...
The theater killed it for me when I worked there. It was like my first week.
I didn't
there.
even like really love popcorn to begin with, but I agree.
I liked it like going into the movies, but working at a movie theater really just kind of broke that for me.
Yeah.
And it made it really annoying whenever like a customer would come in and be like, I just smelled the popcorn and I had to buy a bag. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what they wanted. Here you go. Paid like $12 for a large popcorn. Enjoy it.
Here's your soggy bag of butter. That's all it is.
Or your extremely overpriced promotional tub.
Whoa! But look, it has a badly printed picture of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the side.
Wow, that's totally worth the extra $5.
I would say, yeah, just a soda. I've been digging. I'm gonna start not drinking soda anymore.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of ginger ale just because I was really sick, and ginger ale really does help me. Makes me like it helps me keep down stuff as well. If I feel sick and kind of nauseous, I can just drink a ginger ale and be fine. So I bought a bunch. So as soon as I'm done, I'm pretty much done with that. But I do like getting like pink lemonade still. Lemonade's my jam. And I like to eat easy dibs.
Dibs are pretty good.
I just wish there were more in a container.
Yeah.
I finished them before the movie starts.
Yeah, they put like 12 dibs in there, and you're just like, oh,
but dibs are like my favorite snack in a movie, I guess. You just gotta make homemade dibs. She's got to bring a carton of ice cream into the movie theater.
Yeah, just
Sneak it in.
where there's a will, there's a way.
All right. Question number 2 from Pierre. If you had to choose between saving a few friends or saving a few billion strangers, who would you save?
Oh, jeez, that's a rough one.
That's a rough one? A few friends or a few billion strangers?
I mean, obviously, I'd have to pick the few billion strangers, but I mean, it would be a rough decision to make.
It wouldn't for me. Sorry, guys. Few people. I'm not gonna kill billions.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to kill billions of people either, but wouldn't be easy. You catch my drift?
Yeah. I don't know, just kill. Maybe if you got to choose your friends, you could be like, phew, Jordan.
Perhaps.
Woo, Sarah. And then, final question.
Okay.
Here. Who is your least favorite and most favorite mascot characters? Do you think Eraserhead would be improved with a marketable mascot character? Eraserhead already has a mascot character.
It has several mascots.
The baby.
The baby, the Henry with his big hair, the lady in the radiator. I could picture all of them as like football type mascots. Like someone goes out and has like a big head version of them.
Pierre means more
But I get what he means.
little
The iconic,
yeah,
the one that you think of. Would
the baby could work.
Yeah, the baby
though.
would be like the traditional mascot character.
Yeah. So what would yours be?
What's my favorite mascot character?
Yeah, and least favorite.
I really don't have a favorite. I don't like mascot characters.
I like
typically.
Gizmo.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that. Oh,
I like
Gizmo.
Teak.
My least favorite.
The thing is, most puppet characters could be considered mascot characters, so I'm just like, any of those.
My least favorite is the pork. No, it's not really my least favorite. I'm kind of indifferent on that one because it's in the movie for like 30 seconds.
They also had to put something or it would just look really weird.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, just because all the porgs are like replacing like native birds there, and it's easier to digitally like put something over it than...
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Let's see. I changed my answer. My favorite mascot character is Brigsby Bear.
Oh, yeah! Love that movie so much.
My least favorite is...
Sun Snatch.
Leprechaun.
Thomas is just looking at my DVD. Yeah, sure, mine's Leprechaun. Or... no, because I kind of like... I was going to say one of the puppets from Puppet Master, but I kind of like them. They're just in bad movies.
Even, what's his name? Blade?
I like Blade fine. I'm excited for his solo spin-off. Maybe it'll make him a good character.
Yeah.
I like his design, though. I like his little hat. You know?
Yeah.
Mostly because I like his little hat. I think that's the main reason. Little hats can go a long way for me. Like this one. Look at him. Look at his little hat.
That is...
Currently looking at that little doll of Burgermeister again. Look at Bowser's little hat over there.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
My roommate has a amiibo of Bowser's wedding costume, and he has a little hat.
It is little.
Man, I wish you had a little hat.
I don't.
Like a tiny top hat that goes right on top of the head.
Yeah.
You look good.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't have one, though.
Fuck. Well, maybe for Christmas.
Maybe.
All right. That was the questions from Pierre.
Okay.
All right. What, you got your fucking... You got your fucking movie idea, motherfucker?
Let me process it for 2 seconds.
So that's a no.
Okay. So it's called The Death of Santa Claus, and it's a stop-motion movie. It's about a bunch of, corporation owners who go and decide that they need to kill Santa Claus because he keeps giving, kids free toys, and they're like, hey, what the fuck? That's our market.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Santa Claus just gets brutally beaten to death.
Okay.
And, that's the businessmen win.
Oh, just like real life.
Just like real life.
You think that happened in real life?
Well, no, because Santa Claus isn't real. But, I mean...
Well, maybe he was.
At one point... Well, I mean...
Maybe he was up until, 50 years ago.
I highly doubt that. But, St. Nicholas was a person, wasn't he? I don't fucking know. I don't know jack shit about the actual mythos of Santa Claus. I never bothered
I know that Paul Giamatti was a person.
Fred Claus.
Yeah. No, he was Santa Claus. Fred was Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I haven't seen...
Wait, why didn't we watch that movie?
That's a good question. I don't know. Because I picked Krampus for the modern pick on this one.
Man, Fred Claus. That's a movie. There's a lot of bad Christmas movies.
I went and saw that one in theaters when it came out. I was pretty young. And I haven't seen it since.
Did you like it as a kid?
No, I really...
You're like, Fred Claus! And then you saw it, you're like, no!
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, if I pushed my parents to go see it, or if it was one that they were just kind of like, yeah, let's go see it, because my dad liked Vince Vaughn.
Nice.
So, it might have been just one of those things where...
Let's go see the Psycho remake!
No. That was before I was born. It was 95, I think.
Oh, okay.
95, or maybe...
I was thinking 98, but either way, that would still be... You were a baby. Let's take a baby to Psycho!
Yeah.
Mine is also a stop motion movie. It's called The Duck That Couldn't Give a Fuck About Christmas.
Oh shit! I like this one so far.
And it's about a little duck.
Okay.
And he lives in the North Pole.
Wow. Is that duck appropriate climate over there?
No. He's always in cute sweaters though.
Oh, okay. That makes it okay.
It's kind of like an elf where he climbs into the bag. He kind of just climbs on a Santa's sleigh, and Santa's intoxicated that night.
As he usually is on Christmas.
Exactly. So he doesn't notice this duck. So he takes the duck, and the duck's stuck. And Santa's really paranoid in this movie. And he thinks that if the duck leaves, he'll reveal his secret location.
Makes sense.
Because it's not actually the North Pole, it's the East Pole.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What a plot twist.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one fucking coming.
So this duck is just, grows up around Christmas, but never being useful and never being able to help anyone, and never really becoming friends with anyone, because no one's a duck and no one speaks duck. And the elves are all snorting Christmas snow.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So the duck realizes that Christmas isn't what the children think it is. And he takes it upon himself to destroy it.
I like it.
So it's kind of like the same general idea of yours, where Santa's life's work is destroyed, but this is for the good.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of it would be a good double feature with yours.
Yeah.
Different timelines.
There you go.
Santa, it's either Santa dies being a hero or lives long enough to see himself become the villain.
Yeah, because I imagine after a certain point...
Willem Dafoe would, of course, voice Santa Claus in this.
Fuck, yeah. Oh my god, I would watch that.
And he'd play it like Green Goblin.
Oh, of course. How else would he play the role?
I don't know. How else should he play any role, really?
That's true. I'm surprised they haven't gotten Willem Dafoe to play like Santa Claus in anything yet. I mean, he played Jesus once. Why not Santa?
And they're like the same person, so...
Yeah. They're both born on Christmas, supposedly.
No, I'm pretty sure Jesus is born in, like, May, actually.
Yeah, the calendars don't line up, but, I mean...
Much. We have to take this pagan holiday away and put Jesus in.
Yes.
All right. So, the first movie up on the block is about Santa working at Macy's. Welcome to Miracle on 34th Street. Weird ass movie.
Yeah.
Very weird.
This was the one that I was not a fan of.
I have mixed feelings. We'll talk about that though. So here's the plot. Santa, Kris Kringle, he's walking around, New York? Yeah, New York City. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is going on.
Yeah.
Because I think it's Thanksgiving, because it's about to be like Black Friday and big. And he finds the Santa Claus there, intoxicated.
Just like the Santa Claus in your stop-motion movie.
Maybe they're the same person.
Perhaps.
And he's like, "You're a fucking disgrace to Santa Claus." And he goes and rats him out to the parade organizer. And she's like, "Oh, God." She goes to him. She tries to get him, sober. But he's like, "This is a disgrace." And she's like, "Will you be Santa Claus? Do you have experience?" He's like, "Oh, well, a little."
Yeah.
And he's Santa Claus for this parade. He's Santa posing as Santa. And everybody loves him. They're just inexplicably drawn to him. Nobody really knows why. They're just like, "Wow, everybody loves this old guy." They're like, "We have to hire him to work at Macy's.
Yes.
No matter what." And he takes the job.
There's also the B plot where we follow the lady who asked him to be Santa.
Yeah.
Because she basically, immediately as soon as, she gets
She's
Santa.
like, "I don't want to watch the parade. I'm going."
Yeah, that would be me. I relate very much with her character in the first, 10 minutes of this movie before.
She's like, "See ya." So she walks home.
And her daughter is hanging out with some grown man.
Her daughter's hanging out with some grown man. Which, it was already kind of weird, but I'm like, I guess there's scenarios where it's fine. It's the 40s. It's whatever.
Sure.
But then he says, "Oh, it's great to meet you." And I'm like, "Oh, you haven't met the mother yet."
Yep, and it turns out...
he's like, "I took her to the zoo yesterday." And I'm like, "You took what?"
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? And then he's like, "Well, I'm actually just getting close to your daughter because I wanted to meet you." And it's like,
what kind of fucking bullshit is this?
Yeah, that guy is a fucking creep. I did not like his character, and it's not like he got better. Later in the movie, he made decisions where it was like, oof, that's not cool. And I'll explain once we get to that part.
I like some of the things that happen to his character later on.
He just kind of is a dick and constantly defies the mother's wishes for how she wants to raise her daughter.
Yeah.
And it's that's not cool. Especially since she's trying to teach her daughter some fucking logic. Some hard facts.
Hard facts. This movie's so weird. Okay, so Santa's at the Macy's, and he's telling people to go shop other places.
Can we talk about that one scene where he's in the locker room after the Macy Day Parade, and he's talking to that 17-year-old guy who's not actually played by a 17-year-old?
Alfred.
Yeah, and he's like...
Alfred did look pretty young, though. But he didn't look 17.
Yeah, he was probably in his
22,
mid
23.
to early 20s.
40s.
There.
I'm 17!
That's kind of like in the next movie we'll be talking about.
Oh, I'm James Stewart. I'm 22.
It didn't help that they actually had him next to fucking, like, maybe not actual high schoolers, but people who are, like, way younger than him. So
I'm in high school.
But, Alfred, was that the character's name?
Alfred.
Yeah, he had this one line that I thought sounded pretty gross, where he was like, I love giving the kids presents because they get this Christmas look on their face and it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know it's supposed to feel sweet. I get where they're coming from. It's just
with the dated, like,
but I'm just like,
wording.
why couldn't you just say, like, I love seeing the children happy or anything?
Yeah,
like,
in the holidays.
I was like, what the Christmas look in their eye, and it makes me happy.
Makes me feel good and important, and it's like that makes it sound like it's a power sexual thing.
It makes me get a little hard.
God.
This movie is weird.
Yeah, a little.
So Macy's, obviously his supervisor is like, what the fuck? We can't have this happen. But then he gets a bunch of people coming up to him and be like, wow, I never expected Macy's of all companies to do this, to be so right for the customer. Even so, if you don't have the item, you just send them to somewhere that does.
You know, in real life, if someone wanted something from, like, Macy's, and Macy's went, oh, we don't have that, you need to go to this place, they'd be like, what the fuck, why am I even shopping here?
That's true.
Also, there would be some people who are like, oh, that's cool, but I feel like the majority of people
I would love that. I would love if companies do that. I would do that. I have done that when I worked retail. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to, but I was like, don't buy it here.
Yeah. It's cheaper other places. I used to, like, let people I'd be like, whatever, bring in whatever fucking candy you want. I don't give a shit. You pay, like, $6 for...
You don't want to pay $7 for a Snickers bar?
Yeah, no kidding. It's just like, holy shit. You can buy the same exact sized one at Walmart for, like, 99 cents. And it's just like... just highway robbery, except it's not on the highway. It's in a movie theater.
It's like a highway.
It is like a highway. Dangerous. People are always spilling their drinks because they do that on the highway.
People bring guns in. And I go, you can't bring a gun into a theater, you don't.
But I got my Second Amendment rights.
I don't give a shit. This is private property, motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Santa Claus, Macy's ends up liking this idea because their customers are like, first-time customers are like, wow, I'm coming back to Macy's. And it's like, wow, are you saying that a business strategy that treats customers with respect works?
Wow.
What a surprise!
And while this is going on...
And I'm like, I wish this is how companies worked in real life, but it isn't.
Yes.
Especially Macy's.
Yeah. And then, while this is going on, Mr. Creep is taking the daughter to go see Santa, because in the last scene it was established that
she doesn't believe in Santa.
She doesn't believe in Santa. Her mom is raising her up with logic and shit like that. Like, just basically like, oh, don't believe fairy tales and shit like Santa Claus and Jesus. But, yeah, basically, so the creep neighbor guy takes the girl to see Santa Claus, and the mom, like, catches wind of this, and she's like, look, I don't fucking appreciate this at all, because she's a kid. If this dude is just, like, really convincing with his words, and, like, she'll get confused, and then she probably, like, won't fucking listen to me if I try to, like, explain what's really going on here with her. And then she's like, whatever, I'll just bring this guy in to explain to my daughter that this isn't really Santa Claus, because the daughter saw him speaking Portuguese, and she's like, oh, this guy speaks Portuguese?
Dutch.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. But, so she witnesses, Santa speaking Dutch, and then she's like, holy shit, he speaks Dutch. He automatically, therefore, is Santa Claus, because, regular people can't speak Dutch. So
That's what I said to Uniteo when we watched it together. I'm like, whoa, I guess everyone that speaks 2 languages is Santa Claus. And the mom brings it up as well. She's like, I speak French. That doesn't mean I'm Santa Claus.
she says Joan of Arc.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So she brings in Santa Claus and she looks at like his like employee record and notices that his name is fucking Kris Kringle and that this dude actually believes he's Santa Claus. So she's like, oh, he's nuts. Oh, well, I'm just gonna fire him. And then in the background, all the shit with like her bosses being like, we need to keep this guy because he's bringing in good business.
Mr. Macy's brings her up to his office and he's like, you guys are geniuses. And she's like, I just fired him. And her supervisor's like, go get him back.
Yep, so she does, and they keep Santa Claus. And this is where they like try to find him a place to stay, right? At this point?
They get him a psychiatry thing first.
Oh, yeah, they make sure he's
she's
mentally
just,
sound.
Yeah, she's just like, I would feel more comfortable.
Which the psychiatrist is like, no, he's not mentally sound.
But the psychiatrist is also not mentally sound.
Yeah.
Psychiatrist is just like, I'm evil!
You know, because this is a movie that promotes, like, faith and belief in imaginary things.
I mean, I don't know, like, that guy was pretty fucking
He
evil.
was, but that's
even
because
Santa, he's like, I like psychiatry, you're evil!
I agree in the context of the film, yes, but I'm saying he's like that because I feel like that's how the people who wrote this movie probably viewed psychiatrists.
Yeah.
Evil, God's not real, only you can take accountability for yourself. What the fuck does that mean? Jesus takes accountability for me. But, yeah, so...
Jesus is my daddy.
Basically, the company's like, well, whatever, he's not mentally sound, but we'll just have, like, security nearby in case he, like, freaks out or something. So... this happens, and they're trying to find a place for him to stay, because he doesn't have anywhere to live. And he is going to stay with the, like, Macy's guy's family.
Because he got his wife plastered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? This is a Christmas movie?
Yeah, it's a Christmas
Most of my enjoyment, these mixed feelings, is I love how fucking weird it is.
See, it never crosses the line where I think it's, like, weird. I just think it's... I don't know. It's weird from, like, a modern-day perspective, but, like, I don't know. This kind of, like, behavior is pretty typical in, like, old white people fucking movies like
right.
this.
You're right.
So
I guess I'm just not used to it with Santa.
That's true.
But then, fucking... the dude...
Yeah, the creep next door is like, oh,
you
well...
can stay with me and ride with her every day.
Yep. And she didn't seem very pleased about that one. So yeah, now she's got the crazy Santa living directly next door to her and her daughter. At this point, if I were her in real life, I would have been like, alright, dude, just stay away from me. Stay away from my daughter. And keep Kris Kringle with you. He can take the bus to the mall. Oh, but, which is why if Santa was real, I could end up on the naughty list and get coal every year.
You probably only get it once, then be like, oh, I guess Santa's real.
Well, no, I'd probably look at the coal and go, ah, ha, 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 sick prank by my parents or one of my shitty friends, I don't know.
Ah, Frank, we'll have this happen every year for a prank.
Yeah. Someone desperately wanted to gaslight me into believing that Santa Claus.
You just build like a train.
What?
A coal-powered train, and you're like, now I have fuel.
Yeah,
idiots.
I'll take the coal and I'll turn it into diamonds. But, yeah, so... Oh, God. What happens next? Something leads the Santa Claus to have an argument. Does that happen around this point in the movie?
With the psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he talks to Alfred. And Alfred's having a bad day because the psychiatrist is telling him that because he wants to be Santa, he must have some huge trauma. And I was like, okay, bro.
Yeah.
That's a big step there. Especially when you find out that this guy's not a licensed psychiatrist.
Yeah.
He's just kind of making shit up. So Santa goes to him and argues with him and says he's going to go to Mr. Macy's and then hits him on the head with an umbrella.
Yep. Just a good old thwop.
And he like falls over and he sees fucking
The main...
Mr. Shellhammer and the main lady coming to see him, like to make sure he's okay. So he like pretends to be passed out.
Yep. Make it look a lot worse than it was. And
he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. We gotta commit him.
Yep. So they commit Santa Claus.
Yeah. They like convince him, and he thinks that because she was like on board with it or not, like super opposed, that she's given up on him. So he lets himself be committed. Pretty much, he purposely fails the test. But then funny creepy man. I don't even want to know his name. That's his name.
No,
funny creepy lawyer man.
But...
He visits him, and he's like, "You can't give up on them." And Santa's like, "Oh, you're right. You're right." But after like 1 minute, "You're right."
Yeah,
he's like, "Well, get me out of here." And he's like, "That's kind of hard to do. You were just committed." And so then they take it to court. And then the movie turns into like a courtroom drama. Trying to prove first that Santa Claus exists, and then that the main character is Santa Claus. It's strange.
And basically, no one has any facts behind what they're saying, but they're like, this guy's real nice.
He's nice.
He's nice. He reminds me of Santa Claus. He looks like Santa Claus. And then they bring out a big bag of letters. And they pour it in, and they're like, look, these are all delivered to him. They say Santa Claus.
And, because... So they find there's a bunch of postal workers that are... It cuts the scene real quick, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm like, God damn it. There's a bunch of postal workers sifting through stuff, and they find that somebody sent a letter to Kris Kringle at the courthouse. And they're like, wait, we have a bunch of dead letters to Santa because they can't send stuff to the North Pole. Yeah. So they just send all the old letters to Santa Claus they had to the courthouse. So they have like thousands and thousands of letters they use as evidence because a U.S. government, like, official office pretty much declared that he was Santa Claus.
Yep. And then they're like, well, okay.
And the judge has been looking for a way to say that he's Santa the entire time, because the judge was like, I'll just let him off. It'll be fine, because he's up for re-election soon.
Mad at him.
His kids are mad, and he's like, I don't want to tell kids that Santa's not existing either. And
what if this was like an actual deranged, crazy guy who could hurt people?
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, he couldn't hurt people. And I am okay with, people that are a little loony if they're not hurting themselves or others, If somebody did think he was Santa, that's fine.
Yeah, there's a difference between, like, atypical personality.
And they said that. They're like, he's not going to hurt anyone. And I agree. Like,
yeah,
don't institutionalize someone that has, like, one thing wrong with them.
I agree.
He's too nice. He thinks he's Santa. I'm like, okay, I'd be friends with somebody like that.
I wouldn't.
I would. Like, what if he was Santa? What if there was this slim chance that Santa somehow exists in this weird, cold world? Maybe he was in, like, a cryogenic sleeping chamber for the last 100 years. And he came back, and he wanted to work at Macy's.
I'd be like... I'd argue with him too much. I'd be like, I need some tangible evidence.
He's nice.
That's not enough.
Honestly, if we were just a little like Santa in this movie, I think the world would be better. Maybe not in like Rudolph, because then you'd be racist.
Yeah. Oh, your nose glows red? Oh, you're automatically less value than the other. you were a prime candidate for head of my sleigh, but then I saw that your nose lit up. Not no more. But yeah, so he's free. At some point, the mom had decided Santa Claus was real, and then she's happy that he got out, and she invites him to dinner, but he's like, I can't, it's Christmas Eve, I gotta go do my thing. And then, I don't know, does the movie just kind of fade out? I don't fucking remember.
No, they go to the house.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There was a subplot that the kid was like, you're not Santa because you can't buy me a house.
It's like he makes toys, you fucking...
I'm like, that's not what Santa does. But then they find the house and he has his cane inside and they decide to like buy the house together and she's like, Santa's real! And then the movie ends. Positives for me. I like how... I don't know, I think the plot's very strange.
So little.
I liked it. I like the part where he bonks the guy on the head. I like the guy who plays Santa Claus. I think he's pretty good as Santa. He seems nice. Seems like a nice old man. He's dead. He's been dead for a long time.
Yes.
60 years, probably. I like some of the dialogue between the little girl and the mother. And I like the little girl in general. I think she's funny.
Yeah, like that scene where she pretended to be a monkey. It was a strange scene.
I couldn't stop laughing and I have no idea why. I think I was just uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was definitely a little off-putting. There was nothing like
a monkey, and I'm like, cool. The kids do that, older people do that with kids as well. But I'm just like, it's very weird.
Yeah, there's just
you just met this old man.
Something strange.
This is how you pretend.
Ooh, and she's like, and this was like, I was like, oh, huh.
I give this movie a 5 out of 10.
Oh, dude, I give this one a 3.
A 3? Oh, that's not as bad as I thought you were going to go. That's fine. 4 out of 10. Pretty, not, it's weird. It's a movie.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
It is a movie. Technically, I guess, yeah.
It's a movie! Woo! It's a Christmas movie!
Movie certified.
This gets our stamp of movie. This is a Screen Weens certified movie.
Yeah,
It's not saying it's any good, it's just saying it is indeed a movie.
Yeah, you won't be fooling anyone. No one's going to mistake this for a TV show.
Yeah, don't even...
Even though I think it was a TV movie.
Maybe this one. I don't know about this one. They did 3 adaptations, I think.
Because I know that they did one later.
There's one in the 90s, and I think there's a television-specific adaptation in the 70s. It's like 55 minutes. We should watch those!
No.
We should make our own!
No.
Miracle on...
43rd Street.
Oh, Miracle on Elm Street.
Whoa!
Where Freddy Krueger gets a new baseball bat as a kid... and then never becomes a pedophile.
Well, I don't consider him a pedophile. Just a child murderer. The pedophile thing's from the remakes.
Isn't it kind of implied in the original, though?
They don't imply heavily towards it. They just say he's a child murderer. So, I'll defend the child
murderers, probably.
I mean, realistically, probably. But, I mean...
Isn't the remake really, really good?
No.
Just kidding. I haven't seen it. Or, I think I've seen the original. Never heard of them.
Oh.
Now I've never heard of them. All right. The next one.
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life by Frank Capra.
Which had the driest fucking first, 30 minutes.
I didn't mind The only part I really did not like in the movie was I didn't like the very beginning opening with like the angels talking in the galaxy.
Yeah, I didn't like that stuff.
I also didn't. I just didn't think it needed to be there, like, or any of the overall narration by them.
Like that part where it like shows him the first time he's an adult and it pauses. It's like, there he is. I like him.
Oh, I like him. He's cute. And I'm like, yeah, Clarence, get it. Fuck. Okay. This is my friend Capra, who had done a movie called It Happened One Night. I don't know if you've heard of that. Won Best Picture in like 34 or whatever when it came out. I've heard very good things about it. I've been meaning to watch it.
Huh.
So this has, main character is James Stewart, who I had seen in Rope previously.
Yeah.
He's good in Rope.
He is.
I really like him in this as well.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
I need to watch more of his stuff. Okay. So we zoom in on a distant galaxy, like a constellation system.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of stars lighting up because a bunch of angels are speaking to each other. And they're talking about how George Bailey needs their help. And he's thinking about committing suicide at that moment. So they have to get this angel named Clarence, who hasn't earned his wings yet.
Yeah, he's a second class.
Yeah, AS2, Angel second class.
Yeah.
So they need to send him to Earth to save him. But they need to bring him up to speed on his life first.
So we get the first part of the movie showing his life.
Yeah, this is like most of the movie. I think it goes until like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's like at least almost up to speed. And then the last 30 minutes. Yeah, so the movie is 2 hours and like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. First hour and 15 minutes is leading from when he's like 8 years old to when he's 32, I think, something like that, around there.
Something like that. It was hard to tell
like
because he had the same actor playing him from when he was like 17 to like the current.
And they he looked 17.
Yeah,
Even
totally.
though he was, I think, 35 at this time. He also just has a face that looks a little older as well. Because even when he was like playing his same age, he looked a little older. I'm like, this guy could just... James Stewart, I've looked at pictures of him for a while, and he just kind of looked like he could be like 40 from when he was like 25 to when he was like 65. And then he just got really old. I was like, what the fuck? I can't tell what's happening. So, first hour and 20 minutes is that. Then the next 30 minutes is a big bad thing that happens, which we'll get to, and the lead up to why he wants to commit suicide so much. And then the last 30 minutes is that, I'm sure everyone's seen it. Is this where it originated from? I would assume so. But
at least like in this like incarnation.
It's like, I wish I was never born, and he sees like what the world would be like if that was so. Yep. So, back to the beginning. George Bailey, from the very beginning, is shown to be a exceptional human being in the regards to kindness to others, I guess.
Yeah.
The very first thing that happens is him and his brother, Harry, who is like 5, and he is 9. No. The brother is 9, he is 13. Now I remember. They're sledding on... Have you ever been sledding? You've probably been sledding. You grew up around snow.
Yeah, I went sledding like once. I didn't...
You ever done it on a shovel?
No, I haven't.
I wonder if... I'm sure that is a thing that people do, but they're sledding on their little shovels, especially because they're little kids, you know, they can fit on shovels. But Harry goes too far and just falls into the open, like, ice water.
Yep.
And George just immediately is like, I'm coming, Harry! And he jumps in.
Yep. And then...
And he saves him.
Yeah.
but he gets a ear infection and loses all his hearing in his left ear. Important for like 3 scenes.
Yeah.
Which is fine, you know. That's enough for me. Because that's not something that would come up in every scene. Be like, sorry, I can't hear.
Yeah. So then we jump a little bit ahead.
No, it's a couple weeks later.
Oh, is it?
It's saying that it needed, because he had an after-school job or something, and they said it took a couple, they either said couple weeks or couple months before he could return. So he returns. He's working at like a pharmacy, which also has like a little like candy. Yeah, it's mostly just a pharmacy that has other things. And he's like serving candy to kids. And there's one girl named Mary. I want to say. Does that sound right?
It's like vaguely.
I want to know, like, because she's the main woman in it. I need to know her name.
Yeah, I think it's Mary.
Because there's also Violet. So there's 2 girls in there. They're like 10. Or I think he's 4 years. So they're like 9. And
they both hit on him.
Mary, yes. Violet hits on him, and he's like, go away, motherfucker. Like, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, get away from me. And then Mary, like, whispers in the ear he can't hear. She's like, I'll love you till the day I die, George Bailey.
He's like, bitch, I'm gonna be an adventurer.
He's like, I'm gonna go adventuring. I'm gonna get a subscription to National Geographic.
And I'm gonna have like 4 wives.
Then he gets called by his boss to come back to the stock room because he's making medicine. And we learn that his son had just died.
Yep.
Through like a newspaper or like a clipping from the doctor. And, he's like super distraught. He's like crying. He like can't see what he's doing. And George Bailey realizes that he put like poison, like the powder, like he had it like turned the wrong way.
Yeah. And
he had put like poison in these pills. So he like takes the pills, but he doesn't take them to the kid. And then he instead visits...
He tries to go visit his dad upstairs.
Yeah, he tries to go visit his dad, who owns Building and Loan. Bailey Building and Loan. The first people I actually cared about who were loan people. I'm like, what? They are good people?
And
How the heck? Which I'm fine with. You know what? I like to believe that there's at least one person in the world that is a lone person that's a good person.
Hopefully.
It might not be true, but I would hope that at least one person. I hope there's a George Bailey. There's a Bailey in the world.
Maybe.
So, sorry, it took me a second to get back to where I was. I'm tired. George Bailey visits his dad, but his dad is having an argument with Mr. Potter.
Yes.
I think his name's like Alfred Potter, but Potter, who pretty much, he owns the town pretty much, except for like the bank and the loan place.
Yep.
And he's trying to
get it.
He's trying to get it. And the dad's like, fuck you, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dad's like, we need more time, fuck you. Get out. And he's making fun of his dad. Potter's like making fun of the Bailey Sr. I think his name's Peter Bailey. And George is like, fuck you, you can't say that about my dad, you piece of shit.
Yeah, and then...
and the dad's like, you can't, get out.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
But he's still nice about it. He's like, I feel like he's like, ooh.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll talk to you tonight, okay? And he says hi to his Uncle Billy, who's like, trying to remember things, and he's already like having a ton of trouble. He has a bunch of things tied around his like little things to remember you by, just tying a little knot around like a finger.
Yeah.
But he can't remember anything, and I'm like, man, throughout this whole movie, I'm just like, this guy has to go to a doctor. That's not normal to have this bad of memory problems.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm worried, but I'm like, wow, he's poor. He can't go to a doctor.
Yeah, weird.
It's
almost like it's
the
been
whole time was like,
it's been going on for a long fucking time.
So George Bailey, I think it goes later on, right?
Well,
Is there anything else
cut
in this?
Yeah, we cut back.
Oh yeah, he goes back to goes back to the shop, and his boss had just gotten a call from the woman who was expecting medicine for her sick son, and he slaps George. He's like, "Don't you realize this kid's sick? He needs his medicine." And George's like, "No, I'm sorry. I saw you put the wrong thing in the medicine, sir. I'm sorry, I know you're sick and I know you're hurting, but you messed up." And then they both break down because he realized what he's done. And he's like, "I'm so sorry." And
I won't tell a soul.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to that scene we were talking about earlier where they're like, "This is George Bailey. He's older." And it's pauses.
It cuts to when he's
17, 18. Late high school.
Is he? Because what happens?
He's getting ready to go to that high school dance, but he's standing at a counter in this opening scene.
He's getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not 18. He's 22.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to see.
High school? I figured he was graduating, getting ready.
No, because his friend, all his friends from school, they're already graduating. Like Sam Wainwright, hee-haw! He's graduating, so it's implied heavily that he stayed a couple years because he didn't have money right out of high school.
Yeah.
So he had to work for a couple of years. Made the money. So he's 22 because Mary is also she had just turned 18 and he's older than her by a couple of years.
I see.
So at least he didn't play a 17-year-old. He played a 22-year-old, which is a little better,
I guess. But yeah.
So he's getting ready to leave. He's like, "I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to take my trip to Europe and then I'm going to go to school." And he's been working really hard for the last couple of years to do this. So somebody and everybody in the town loves him. It's important to know that.
Yeah.
Somebody gives him a piece of luggage that has his name on it for being such a cool guy. And he's just pretty much getting ready. He goes to see his dad. They have some food. Harry's coming in, and Harry, his younger brother, is 18.
Yeah.
And he's partying a lot. And he goes to this dance. I don't know if it's a high school dance. I don't think it's no, because they're older people. It's just kind of a big town dance.
Because it had the class of 1928 thing put up, and it was in a high school. But and then they did that thing where he's dancing with Mary, and then the floor splits, and I guess they just had a pool underneath there. I've never seen that kind of.
Well, yeah, they say that. They say that it would just they needed a swimming pool for a swim team or something. They needed it,
yeah.
And they said it was much cheaper just to put it on the floor. And I'm I guess I can believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it would cost to have a retractable floor, but building an entire another building just to put a swimming pool sounds like it would be more expensive. I don't know the logistics of swimming pools. I know they're very expensive.
Yes. But yeah, they fall into the pool and then they go and...
I love this little dance they do.
Yeah, it's alright.
I don't know. I really liked it. They're all dancing. They have this dance competition going, and he had cut into Dance with Mary, so this guy's pissed and he gets a key from someone. I don't know who that guy was.
I don't know.
And they open the floor, and the floor starts opening, and him and Mary just don't know it, so they're just dancing away, and they keep getting close to the edge, and people are "Ah!" And they're cheer, and they think they're cheering for him, and they're "Oh, we must be doing good," and they keep doing that, and then eventually they just fall into the pool, and then they're still dancing in the pool.
Yep. And then they walk
It's
home.
me and you, we'd be dancing in the pool together.
Yeah, I'd be doing my little floss.
So they're walking home together. She's just in a robe, and he's just has clothes on that are way too big. He's holding his pants.
Yeah, and then
and
they're talking. Some neighbor harasses them.
They see this, they see this big empty house that's 2 or 3 stories, and it's in total disrepair.
They
But
throw rocks at it.
yeah, she's like, I would love to live in that house. The romance, the history. And he's like, looks kind of shitty to me.
Yep.
They throw rocks at it to make wishes. He's like, it's good luck in the town. And I'm like, I know small town like traditions. That's completely correct. I know I've done things like that. That's exactly what people that are very bored do. They're like, it's good luck to throw a rock at this house and hit the glass.
I guess so.
And then they just kind of goof around Mary. They're like doing this thing like, won't they kiss kind of thing. They're both feeling each other, but they keep like pulling away. And then Mary accidentally like loses her robe.
Yeah, and then she hides in some bushes.
She hides in some bushes, and then he's like goofing around with her.
And then a car pulls up.
And they're just like, George, quick! Your dad had a stroke. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's dead at this point, isn't he?
It cuts to like, it doesn't say like if he died there, because it cuts to like 3 months later.
Okay. But yeah, he's dead now. 3 months
He's
later.
dead now, and he's at the building and loan place with a meeting with like all the other loan people, like the board that his dad was on.
Yep, and they vote to shut her down.
They want to shut them down. At least Potter does. Potter's like, now we can get rid of this stain on my town. And everybody else is like, fuck you, it's not your town, bitch.
Yeah, and then basically they vote that the place can stay open, but only if George takes care of it. So he can't go travel or go to school.
Well, yeah, George had already waited. He'd already skipped Europe just to try to keep this place afloat.
Yeah.
And then he decides to stay, because if not, they'll shut it down. And it's like one of the only places that Potter doesn't own. And it's one of the only places like people... It's important to note that like this guy, Ernie. Bert and Ernie.
Oh.
Ernie is a taxi driver. And he's like a really nice guy. He's in the movie quite a bit. And they had given him a loan. And he had like vouched for him. And Potter had originally like turned them down at the bank, or his bank, whatever. And he had been like, see, they're just giving money to their friends. I really like this monologue from James Stewart, where he's just like, you know what, you're a selfish old man. Everybody hates you and I fucking hate.
Yeah, and the Potter just like yawns in the middle of it. He's totally just unamused by this.
And he knows that like this place is needed no matter how much he like hates this town. And it's important to know that he like hates this town the whole time. And he hates working at Building Alone, but he stays to do it. And he instead gives the money that he made to his brother to send him to college, which was very sweet.
Yes.
So it cuts to 4 years later. Harry is coming back from college, and they had agreed that he would take over Building Alone so that George Bailey could do what he wanted and travel and go to school. But Harry comes back with a wife.
Yes.
And she tells George that they have a job offer for him at her dad's like company, which is like a really good working experience, so it would take him lots of places. So George stays again.
Yep.
Even though his brother like will do it, but he's like, no, this is good for him. If I can't get out, he can. And then he's going to stay, and he also goes to Mary, who had just arrived back in town.
Yeah, his mom set it up.
Yeah. And he goes there, and they have that same will they, won't they thing. There's a really sweet picture that she made when they were walking, when she was just out of high school and he was like 22. He was like telling her all the dreams he had. He's like, I have every day, every year planned out from here. Which made me very sad. And he's like, what do you want? You want the moon? I'll lasso the moon for you. And then it cuts back, or it's during this time that she had made this cute little painting that has him lassoing the moon.
Yes.
And
he's a dick about it.
Yeah, and he's just like, I can't be tied down, I can't stay again. He's kind of just like freaking out.
Yeah, and they like call her boyfriend.
They call Sam, who was like kind of her boyfriend, but he also lived in New York.
Yeah, and then they do one of those like hard cut comedic timing scenes where it's like, look, I can't go and get married to you. And in hard cut, they're married.
Yeah. They're married, so probably a little bit later, like a year.
Yeah,
I would assume it's not just 2 days later. It might be.
It might be. It's the 40s.
But no, because he had more money saved up as well.
Ah.
But, so they had money saved up and they were going to go on a big trip. They were going to go to like Cuba and I don't know. They said a couple of places.
Yeah.
And then as they're leaving, they notice that the loan place is closed.
And there's like a shit ton of people.
And he's like, oh, fuck, what is going on? So he stops the car and he goes and he finds out that the bank was like closed and they're not going to reopen for like a week. And people at the loan agency are trying to take a bunch of money out, like all their money that they have in the company. And he's like, well, we don't have that because that's not how things work. And they're like, you need 60 days. And people are freaking out. And Potter is currently buying all the stocks for 50 cents on the dollar. And people are like, I need cash. I'll just go there. And he has a big speech. He's like, we need to help each other. We can't let this happen. Potter's trying to take over. Yeah. And he had just bought the bank pretty much. He's like, we can't let this happen. So he uses all the money he had saved up for his honeymoon to pretty much pay for people to be okay. And most people are really sweet about that. They're just like, I just need $20 to last me until the bank opens. The first guy's though like, I need $242.
And he's like, you dick. All right, fine.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't. It's either he's gonna leave, like, and if he leaves, everybody else will too, kind of thing. He's like, I need. Yeah. But then everybody else is like $20. And this one woman's like, can I have $17.50? And he's like, he kisses her on the cheek. He's like, I love you.
Yeah.
So, and then the clock, like, gets to, like, 6 when they close, and they're cheering, and he's like, we still got $2 left!
Yep, and then he's like, where the fuck is my wife? And then, turns out she's at some ratty hotel.
She calls him, and she's like, come home. And he's like, home? He's like, 320 Sycamore. And he goes, and it's the old abandoned house. And
I thought it was a hotel. Like just some shitty...
No, that's the old abandoned house.
Okay, that makes sense. That connects that middle bridge to me. I was really bored throughout like this beginning portion.
Man, I liked it.
I progressively got really more into it.
I pretty much really was invested throughout the whole thing. There were things that I didn't like, but I was pretty invested. I don't know what it was. Maybe I just like George Bailey as a character, so I was like invested more.
Maybe. It took me a while to warm up to him. I don't like them trying to push him onto me going, I like this guy. I was like, well, I don't.
Well, now I don't. I'm coming.
Don't tell me how
Clarence. So they go to this old abandoned place, and Bert and Ernie and someone else, a bunch of people that they were friends with and they had been nice to over the years, are like setting up like posters of like faraway places, and they're like making them dinner and stuff. Like they do this big thing because they can't go on their honeymoon. Yeah. So they do that, and the Bert and Ernie sing outside for them. Yeah. And it's very sweet. And when it cuts to them having kids. Right? They have kids. Yeah. Yeah, and then they say, oh shit, is this when they just cut because the war happens?
Yeah, I think
okay.
it is.
So they do this like big cut thing where they're saying what happened during the war because I get it. I didn't really want to spend a lot of time during wartime, I guess. Yeah. So hold on, wait a minute. Just trying to think this series of events that happens. Does Potter offer him a job first?
He might do that before the war.
Okay, yeah. I think so. So Potter is just kind of sick of building a loan. He's been trying to get him out of business for years and take them over pretty much, or just destroy them. He doesn't care. He just wants to own what he can't have. That's like his whole character. He's just evil.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, yeah, people with money, I get it. They're evil. I agree.
Yes.
And he offers George Bailey, who makes $45 a week. He offers, he does offer him this now because it's before he has kids.
Later, yeah.
He offers him $20,000 a year, which is a lot of fucking money then.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's pretty fine now compared to most people's jobs.
Yeah,
it's less than what you would make if you just worked minimum wage for 40 hours. But some people don't even get to work 40 hours, so.
Exactly.
But George Bailey's like, fuck you. You're just doing this to have what you don't have.
Yeah. And then
storms off. He's like, all I need is my wife.
And then war. And then
he has kids.
Yeah, we find out that she's pregnant and then
with twins, so she has a boy and a girl.
Yes.
And then he's working every day, and she's working really hard as well, renovating that old-ass house that they bought. They probably bought it dirt cheap because it's abandoned.
Yeah.
And she works really hard to make it really nice, and she does make it really nice. And he's just working every day. He's still trying to save up money. And then war breaks out. Potter gets on, like, the draft council. The uncle, like, goes and sells, like, war bonds. The cop goes to, like, Vietnam, gets shot in the shoulder or something. No, I don't know why the fuck I just said Vietnam. I think I meant Normandy.
Yeah.
He goes to Vietnam for no other reason.
Years
just some
before,
random guy shoots him in the shoulder. No.
Yeah, in this movie that was made years before Vietnam ever happened.
But the big thing is that George Bailey couldn't go because of his ear.
Yeah.
So he pretty much just did everything he could from there. Like he did, I don't know, all the things that they would need. Like they did a rubber thing where they needed rubber.
Yeah.
And he just did a bunch of drives to get supplies for the troops. But his brother Harry went and he saved a whole platoon and was getting the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's when they picked back up. And George is super happy. Everything's looking up pretty much.
Yeah.
This is also it's Christmas Eve, which is when he decides to kill himself.
Yes.
Because of,
little buddy gets out.
Poor Uncle Billy here. Good old Uncle Billy. He takes $8,000 to the bank to deposit it, and then he sees Potter reading the newspaper, and he needs to rub it in his face. So he goes up and he goes, whoa! Because Potter's been the whole time saying that Baileys are nothing, nobodies, and will never amount to anything. He's like, whoa, a Bailey getting the Congressional Medal of Honor. Guess you never can keep us down, Potter. And he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then he accidentally folds his envelope of money into the newspaper that he hands back to Potter. Who runs this bank? And then he tries to go make a deposit and he can't find his money. And he's searching everywhere for it. And he searches the trash can, and Potter, sees the money, and he looks out, and he, smiles. He's like, I have the money now. I'm like, give him the money! You have everything!
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have their
he doesn't have loans.
So
then we cut to back to Bailey building a loan, and fucking pretty much the uncle tells George what happened, and George is freaking out, and they can't find the money anywhere, and George starts losing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you think I'm going to go to prison for this, you're wrong. But then at the same time, immediately so he goes home, and he's obviously extremely tense. He starts like crying, and then he starts like yelling at his kids,
and
then he wrecks his wife's like art stuff.
Yeah,
and then he goes, "I'm sorry. Keep playing your piano." And then they don't, and they're crying. He's like, so then he just kind of leaves.
He goes, he gets hammered, he drives into someone's tree.
Well, hold on. Not yet.
Oh.
He goes to Potter first.
Oh, yes.
He goes to Potter and begs for money.
And Potter's like, fuck you.
Potter's like, fuck you. And then George, this is another thing. Like, he had said he wouldn't go to prison, but then he tells Potter that it was him that lost the money to save face for the uncle. And Potter's just like, I'm going to call the police. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
He's evil.
Yeah. So then, yes, he goes and he gets hammered. He goes to Martini's. And Martini's like, oh, there had been an incident where he called his teacher had called to check in on his daughter, Zuzu,
who is sick.
Because she was sick because she walked home with like her shirt, her like jacket open.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You let her leave like that? How do you even think you're a good teacher? I fucking hate you. And then his wife gets on, or her husband gets on the phone. He's like, well, if I ever fucking see you, I'll beat the shit.
He's like, it'll be my pleasure.
George is losing it.
Yeah. And then, at the bar, Martini's, he overhears the Bailey.
Bailey, which one?
He's like, oh, George Bailey. Fucking decks him in the mouth.
And then they all kick him out. They're like, fuck you. Get the fuck
Yeah, not George Bailey.
This is my best friend.
And then George...
because Martini, he had helped Martini get his own, like, place. His house and then his, like, bar.
Yeah. So George is frustrated and he leaves. He gets in his car. He drunkenly drives into some dude's tree.
Incredibly drunk.
Yes.
He drives into a guy's tree who goes, my grandfather planted this tree. And he just wanders off and he goes to a bridge and he's going to jump when Clarence, the angel that we were introduced to at the beginning, he finally shows up and he's like, I have an idea. So he jumps in the water first.
So George jumps to save him and then they're both like inside because this like security guard for this like nearby place sees them or some facility and pulls them out of the water and takes them inside to like dry their clothes. And basically Clarence is like, yo bitch, I'm an angel. I ain't got my wings, but I know everything about you.
And the other guy's like, George just isn't believing it, but the other guy's like, so he just kind of leaves. He's like,
yeah. And then, so George is like, fuck, I wish I was never born. He's like, oh, is that all? Okay. Bam.
So then immediately he can hear in his left ear, and like his busted lip is like fine. He's like, that's weird. Must have washed off.
Yeah.
But that cold water must have like flown in my ear and I can hear again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, George, I know you're very drunk, but there's a little bit of denial here.
Yeah. And then,
so then they just start wandering around town, and they see like all the awful things that happened because George Bailey never existed.
His brother died
when he was 9 because he just fell in that ice and there was no one to really save him.
All the people that were in his brother's platoon died because his brother wasn't there to save him.
Which was like, I don't know, 12 people or whatever.
Yeah, and there's like a big like graveyard at a place where a park was that he helped.
That was like the big... that was Bailey Park, which was where like all the other affordable housing that was nice was. So everyone has to live in Potter's house. The town is named Pottersville because he owns everything. Martini never got his bar. Mm-hmm. And everyone's just a dick in the town because there was no like person to be nice and help anyone. So everyone else just had to fend for themselves. Yeah, Ernie, his wife, like, because he never got that loan. Because that was George that put through that loan, so he never got that loan, so his wife ran away with their kid, like, 3 years prior.
Oh.
And everything's just really shitty now.
Yeah, and then he goes and he attacks his wife who doesn't know who she is.
Well, he's like, because he's losing his mind. He's like, please tell me you know who I am. And she's just like screaming. And then Bert, Bert had shown up earlier and Clarence had bit him and been like, "Run, George!"
Yeah.
And then
He also visited his mother in one scene, and she had no fucking idea who he was.
Yeah. I mean, I might lose my mind like this as well if this had happened.
Yeah. We also see the old, like, pharmacy guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a bum now because he went to jail for killing
20
that
years
kid.
for killing that kid by accident, obviously.
Yeah.
But and he's like, I did this. Then pretty much he runs off from Bert after punching him in the face.
Yep.
And he runs. And he goes back to the bridge. He's like, "Please, I want my life back.
Like,
I understand. I get it."
Me.
And then immediately Bert pulls up and he's like, "I'll fucking punch you again." And Bert's like, "What the fuck, dude?
Dude, chill out. It's me."
Like, you remember me?
It's like, yeah, you're George fucking Bailey.
And he's like hugging him and he's like, "I saw your car back there." He's like, "That's great. That's great." And then he just starts running through the snow and he's like, "Yay! My
the
car!"
iconic scene that I recognize from Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that scene 50 times probably because I watch Gremlins as a kid all the time. So that was like, and I do think it's a really nice scene. I really like, I'm going to be completely honest. I was not expecting to, but I just started crying a lot at the end of the movie.
Ah.
I was just happy tears, not sad tears. So he runs and he's like, "Merry Christmas, movie theater! Merry Christmas!"
Yeah. And then he
And he goes home and there's
the
bank examiner and somebody with a warrant for his arrest because of Potter. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to prison! Isn't this wonderful?
Where are my kids?" And then his wife shows up and then she's like,
"It's wonderful!" And they go to this is when I start crying, this part coming up. They go to the table and everyone from the town that he had ever helped, which is everyone pretty much, they come in and they just start dumping money. They're like, "Here, I heard you needed help. Here you go." Somebody's like, $242.
Yeah, the guy rips up the warrant and
Sam Wainwright, who was very rich now, was like, "I'm sending you $25,000.
Yep.
And
like, oh shit.
Then they all... And even the bank examiner, everyone that had been kind of colder was like, here's money too.
Yeah.
Because they're not cold people.
And then we hear the bells ring. We forgot to mention the most iconic line from the movie, which happened in the bar scene earlier, where he first transitioned to this alternate universe. Where
whenever you hear a bell, that means an angel's getting their wings.
I have a theory about this. I have a theory about this line and its use in the movie. I think that they invented that line and that myth of every time a bell rings, an angel gets wings, because they didn't want to show the angel with wings.
Which is a good idea.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, I feel like it would have looked bad.
Probably. I mean, wings aren't too hard to do. So
fair enough.
But it's just wow, that was totally a budget thing, and it became one of the most iconic lines in movies. Weird how that works.
Yeah. And then they all sing a Christmas carol together, and the movie ends.
Yeah.
What did you think of the film?
I'd probably give it a 6 at the end. I might have walked away from it liking it a little more if the beginning did a better job at hooking me. Maybe if I watch it again with later context and knowing who some of the characters are earlier on in the movie, it would be an easier watch for me. And the last half an hour was interesting, but I've seen it done before because this is a very popular movie in pop culture, and a lot of people have recreated the last half hour in this movie and sitcoms and animated TV specials and shit like that. So pretty common. I'm pretty familiar with it, so it didn't surprise me in any sort of regard. But
I didn't surprise me. I just thought it was even though it's been used so much, I thought that it was the most well executed version.
It's the most effective because it did it first.
And I'm fine with things doing it first. So I'm not gonna
criticize the movie for that. I was just saying from
and I don't know. I guess I disagree that or at least in my viewing experience. It felt different. I was just hooked from not the very beginning. I was like, oof, this is going to be rough from the like galaxies talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, this was not needed. If I'm giving this movie a 9. I really like the movie.
Huh.
But if, like, I honestly think that if, like, they had handled the angel introduction stuff better, I could maybe give it a 10. There's a couple, like, lines here and there that are a little like, what the fuck? But I think that's just because it's old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not how people talk anymore.
All right.
But I think a big reason that I like this movie is I just, I feel connected with George Bailey, I guess.
Yeah, George Bailey was like pretty well developed, and I liked his character.
And I feel like I've lived my life trying to be like George Bailey a little bit. I don't think I'm as good of a person as George Bailey, but I try to live my life as a really good person. Like, that's just how I live. And I was stuck in a small town. It was different because I lived on an island, but I got stuck there 2 times. Like, that happened to me. Like, I was supposed to leave when I was 18, and it didn't end up happening, and I was supposed to leave the next year, and it didn't end up happening. Like, it happened.
Yeah.
You know? So, and that's another reason, like, the movie just kind of caught me off guard, because it was just like, this happened to me, I guess. Not in the same way. I didn't get stuck for years and years, but, so, I think that's why I cried, too. Yeah, so, 7.5 average.
Yeah. Damn. Throwback to last week's movie.
Throwback. All right. Krampus by Michael Dougherty.
Yeah.
All right.
This movie's good. I like
this movie. Is good.
Yeah.
Let me get some water. Would you like some water, Thomas?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. I'm listening.
So this movie came out 2015, directed by Michael Dougherty. He did Trick or Treat as well, and he's done like Godzilla, King of the Monsters. He directed one of the X-Men movies. I don't know.
No. He wrote the script for X2.
Oh, okay.
He wrote the script for X2, and he wrote the script for X-Men Apocalypse, or at least part of it.
Okay.
I'm guessing the good part. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't
any
see
of
that.
the good moments would probably him.
But yeah, basically.
No, Trick or Treat was his first film he made, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Which is
it was
pretty epic.
Because when he was in college, he did like a short animated
yeah, I need to see that. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's
pretty
only
good.
like a few minutes, and it's on my features. Yeah, it's fun. It's not like super long, and it's not like a phenomenal short film, but you know, it's neat. It's interesting. It's worth the watch if you like Trick or Treat. But yeah, basically this movie is like what Trick or Treat is to Halloween, but for Christmas, except kind of not. Trick or Treat's very like close to like old Halloween traditions and like the origin of Halloween. And this movie doesn't really actually stick very closely to the Krampus legend.
It's just like, we're making shit up.
Yeah, it's basically just like evil alternate universe Santa, which I don't mind. I still thoroughly enjoy this movie. It's just an interesting like difference between the two films that I noticed. But yeah, basically, there's this kid. I never remember main characters' names. I always just refer to them by like their basic character.
Adam Scott and Tony Collette. Don't worry, I'll
exactly.
figure out the names for you.
But yeah, there's this kid. There's like a big Christmas pageant going on at the mall, and he's like
Max.
I thought it might have been Max. So Max gets the tar beaten out of him at this little Christmas pageant because he picks a fight with a bigger kid, and then they come home and he's basically like, I just want Christmas to be like it used to be. Let's watch Charlie Brown Christmas. And his family's like, no, we're too busy for that currently. Plus, like, your aunt and uncle are going to be here soon with your cousins, like any minute. He's like, fuck them. They suck. And he has like this letter to Santa Claus that he wrote, and he just wants to spend time with like his close family. And then the cousins show up, and the family consists of him, Max, his mom, who's played by Toni Collette, his dad, played by Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Then they've got, I think he calls her Obi, who is his grandma.
Yeah.
What is she? She's like...
it's Omi.
Omi.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is she from? Do they say?
She speaks...
She's Swiss?
I don't know. Hold on. I'll figure it out.
Okay. And then he's got like an older sister who's like 14, 15 maybe, somewhere around there. And then they've got the like cousin side of the family that comes, which consists of what is his name? Earl something? I can't remember this guy's
actor?
name. The guy from Anchorman and shit like that.
David Koechner.
Oh, David Koechner. I don't know why I always
Koechner.
want to call him Earl. Maybe he has a character named Earl in something.
Maybe.
Yeah, David Koechner. I don't know the other actress's
Austria.
name. Huh?
Austria. Yeah.
Oh, the Omi.
Yeah.
Okay. And then David Koechner's wife. I don't know the actress's name or the character, but she plays like the aunt, the sister to Toni Collette in the movie. And then they have Berta from 2.5 Men.
She's also in Mr. Deeds.
Oh, she is. Yeah, they have her come through, and she's like Toni Collette's aunt. So basically, yeah, this very dysfunctional family together for the holidays. Oh yeah, and then they've got like 2 kind of chubby boys, and then like a baby, and then like kind of like 2 tomboyish girls.
They just have the one chubby boy.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I guess
Who,
there
like,
is.
doesn't speak.
Yeah.
And he's like, he just has his mouth open the whole time. He's just like breathing heavily and eating food. And like...
I don't know why I thought there was 2 of them. I think there was like a shot where he looked a bit thinner in one of the shots, and I was like, oh, it's a different kid.
Ah.
But, yeah, I guess that makes sense. He didn't talk, so he didn't have much of a presence. But yeah, basically, they get together, and then one of, like, the cousins to Max, like, takes his letter to Santa, and basically, like, reads it at the Christmas table, and he includes some very, like, personal information that he's trying to tell Santa. He's like, my mom and dad don't love each other anymore.
And he's like, please help my, he's like,
Yeah.
please help them. And he's like, can you please help my aunt and uncle? He's
Poor
just
as
really
shit.
sweet.
Yeah, he just wants his family to, like, he wants to connect with his sister again. He just wants the best for him, but they kind of embarrass him, and he rips up the letter and, like, throws it out the window, which summons the Krampus. So yeah, basically, a big snowstorm happens that night while they're sleeping. They wake up the next morning, and,
Electricity's out.
yeah, all the power's out.
And, like, they can't fucking see anything. Cell service is out. Like, everything's out, pretty much.
It's like one guy who knocks on the door. Is he plowing or delivers like a package or something?
Delivers a package, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And there are other packages sitting there.
Yeah.
And he's like, must be the UPS, the brown bag people. Like, UPS.
Yeah.
So they bring all the presents in.
So, basically, daughter's like, oh, my boyfriend's not answering my texts. He just lives like 4 blocks away. Can I please just go down there and check on him for an hour? And the mom, Toni Collette, she's really just like, I don't know. But Adam Scott's like, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Which, if I were real life, yeah, she'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
It's not too
It's like
bad.
a block away.
Yeah.
Like, there's snow. If there's too much, just stay there.
I love this movie because it knows exactly what it wants to be, too.
And it also knows, like, people aren't too concerned right at the beginning, which makes sense. Like, it's just a snowstorm. They lived through it.
Yeah.
Snowstorm. If a snowstorm happened here, I'm extremely ill prepared. I don't know how the fuck I would handle it.
The most we ever get around here is like maybe 5 to 6 inches.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Which is still, I still am like, what the fuck is happening? Just because I'm very unused to snow.
Yeah, the worst part of the snow around here is when people decide to drive in it. Because no one around here knows how to fucking drive in general, as a matter of fact, with snow.
Yeah. And I've had to drive through snow. I've had to drive from the theater to my house in snow. And I'm like, ah! But usually it's like 1 a.m. So I'm like, nobody's on the road. Good.
Yeah.
At least if I die alone.
Exactly. But yeah, basically the daughter like is walking down the road. I don't know if the sequence necessarily happens right at this point.
I mean,
it happens pretty close to this point. She sees like, she notices like, hey, it's pretty vacant around here, and there's like this big like scary horned monster on the roof, and it like jumps from one roof to another.
And she's like, what the fuck?
She's basically just like, oh, I'm gonna lose my shit and start running now. Which she does, and then it's just basically like hopping from house to house following her, and she hides under a truck, and it like gets on the truck, and you're like, oh, it's gonna get her. But it doesn't. It just kind of goes away. But it leaves behind a jack-in-the-box. And we don't see it in this scene.
Yeah, it just opens, and we see something like slowly.
Yeah,
we see its like head like slowly pop out, and then she just screams, and we see the top of it kind of like shake, top of the truck, and then it cuts back to the house.
Yep.
She's gone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And basically, it's been like some time. The mom and the dad are like on the couch, and they're like kind of like just be like, this is nice, because the dad works a lot. And they're like, I miss this. I miss us. And they're, in agreement on that. And then they're like, well, it's been a while since we've seen our daughter. She, phones are out and shit. So we should probably like, do something about that. So the dad and the uncle go out to see if they can like find her. They notice, hey, this place is pretty vacant. They come across a snowplow along the way that had its window busted inwards. And it's like just totally like vacant. The keys are still in the ignition, and they're like...
And they had driven this big truck there, so they grabbed guns out of the back.
Yeah.
Because he keeps his gun. He keeps a shotgun and a fucking pistol.
Yeah. And then they find the boyfriend's house. They go in it. It's vacant. There's like a knife in the fridge and a broken picture of the daughter on the floor. And then they hear her scream, and they're like, oh shit, let's go check that out. And they do. And then a snow graboid, like from the movie Tremors, comes up and fucking starts gnawing at David Koechner's leg, and he's freaking out, and Adam Scott like takes the revolver and shoots the monster away.
Yeah. Like David Koechner almost like gets just gone.
Yeah.
He's like sinking down. No!
God, Tremors is a pretty good movie now that I
Tremors is good.
I like the first one. The sequels are corny. I don't know if I still like them as much.
Have you seen like 6 or 5? Like
no, the furthest I have seen is the 4th.
I think I've seen 1 and 2 maybe, or 1 and 3. Like I saw them on TV. So you can keep talking. I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So basically, David Koechner and Adam Scott like flee back to the house really fast, and they're really hesitant to tell like the kids what's going on, even though the kids are pretty aware of what's going on. They like send the kids over into the kitchen with Berta from 2.5 Men, and she's going to teach them how to make peppermint schnapps while the adults talk about what's going on. And basically, they're like, there is something out there. It fucking attacked us. There is some shit going on, and we need to like prepare for it. So they decide to like go to sleep and take turns keeping watch and keeping guard over like the family. David Koechner volunteers to stay up first, and he ends up falling asleep on duty. Then his chubby kid like wakes up in the middle of the night because a gingerbread man crawls down the chimney on a chain, and he's just kind of like hanging there. Looks like a normal cookie just on a chain in the fireplace at first. Because that's such a normal thing. And the kid goes over, takes a bite of the gingerbread man's head, and then it starts screaming, and then the kid starts screaming, everyone wakes up, but the kid's just yanked up the chimney.
Yeah, because the gingerbread man like grabs the chain and wraps it all around.
Yeah. And then Toni Collette is like the first one to like grab him, and she's being pulled up.
And then everyone's
like grabbing everybody's ankles and like having a chain trying to save this kid. And then Toni Collette sees the cookie like inside.
She like freaks out and then it yanks again. Out. She loses her grip and
and then she falls and the kid goes up.
David Koechner goes up and goes, no!
And then a shoe falls on his head.
Yeah.
And then the grandma tells a story.
He's like, Krampus. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just starts speaking English.
All of a sudden. And then Berta's like, I knew it.
And yeah, she tells the story. And I really like the animation.
It's CG, but it's in the style of like the Rankin and Bass kind of inspired stop motion Christmas.
And I like, I love stop motion, but I would watch like a whole movie that was like CG, like kind of stop motion. Like it's an interesting little thing.
There's CG is getting a lot better at being able to replicate stop motion because there's like in Blender specifically, there's like extensions that you can get to make it look like clay, and you can do like create like artificial like thumb and fingerprints in it to make it like look a little bit more real.
What's interesting is I looked it up and it looks like the like visual effects studio that did like the creature effects and all the other effects in the film just did the whole animation bit as well. Like I thought they would have hired like an animation studio, but they just didn't.
Makes sense that nowadays like special effects companies would be like versatile in both, because a lot of when they do practical effects nowadays, they tend to like touch it up a little bit digitally, which is how it should be done.
But also like
with little touch-ups.
That visual effects studio is also like the visual effects studio for like the one that Peter Jackson made. Like they're huge.
Okay.
It's the one that like did pretty much all the newer Avengers movies and superhero. Like they're getting consistent work in everything, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
that they could do it.
Yeah,
but
so yeah, basically she tells her story about when she was a little girl. Her parents were like fighting on Christmas, and she basically did the same thing that Max did at the beginning of the movie, where she ripped up her letter to Santa. And then Krampus came, killed everyone in her family, but left her alive.
And gave her a bell.
Yep. And just basically to remind her of how hopeless and nihilistic the universe really is.
And she pulls out the bell.
She's like, yeah.
Bell.
And then David Koechner's like, well, fuck this. I'm not going to listen to fairy tales while it's a perfect storm out here. I'm going to go find my kid and your kid like we should be doing instead of sitting here and listening to fables. And then they hear something upstairs.
Oh, did we ever say that his car got destroyed?
Oh, yeah. His truck got destroyed in the scene where him and Adam Scott went out to
they went back to the
dog.
truck and it was just on fire.
Yeah, it was just completely...
That's kind of an important thing to know.
Yeah, so now they don't have an escape. So yeah, they hear some noises upstairs. So the aunt, Toni Collette, and Adam Scott go up there. Or no. What happens? Because I know the daughters like hear, like Dave Koechner's daughters hear Adam Scott's daughter on like the intercom or something like that, and they like go up to look for her.
Yeah, I think so.
Which leads to them encountering the Jack in the Box, which we don't see, but we see the end results of that little confrontation.
Yeah.
When the parents do go upstairs with Toni Collette, Adam Scott.
Because as soon as it, everything's like building up and then just big, like, crazy, weird action thing.
Yeah, and basically they like go up and they see this giant Jack in the Box that's like finishing swallowing up one of the girls, and Adam Scott's like, are you fucking serious? Which is like my favorite line in the movie. It's just like the perfect reaction to like what you would say at this point in the movie. It's just like, yep.
So then they're fighting this Jack in the Box.
And then
while downstairs David Koechner goes to the kitchen and because he had heard a noise and he finds like 3 like gingerbread men who like fight him because they have a fucking nail gun and they get him in the leg.
This scene reminds me so much of a scene from like Army of Darkness, which you still need to see. But yeah, it's very like kind of Evil Dead in that regard. And then upstairs, along with the Jack in the Box, there's also a like bird Christmas angel that's like a raven or a crow. It's like
flies down and goes. Ah!
Yeah, and then there's like a fucking Five Nights at Freddy's like bear.
And then there's a robot.
Yeah, there's a fucking robot that's got like a knife for a hand. And Adam Scott gets fucked up by the robot. Toni Collette gets fucked up by the Christmas angel. The aunt gets fucked up by the bear, and then she's like, they're all like at this low
she
point.
She sees her like daughter about to be eaten, her other daughter.
Yeah, about to be eaten.
And she like is like, fuck this.
And she basically just grabs an axe and just goes ham and destroys like all three of the monsters temporarily. She like fucking she stabs the bear's eye
and
with
then
an icicle.
Yeets him.
Yeah,
she just fucking throws him to the staircase and like falls.
She cuts the Christmas lights that Toni Collette's being hung with by the angel, and then like I think she smacks the angel with the axe or something. She kind of like gets it out of commission.
I think so.
And she goes up and
I think she
shoots the robot because he had the gun, but he couldn't like aim right.
So the robot, I think, gets destroyed.
The robot comes back later because they didn't quite finish it off.
Okay.
They all come back for like one more later. And then, yeah, she goes over and she's like, get me back my fucking daughter. But the Jack-in-the-Box just narrowly escapes right before it was about to eat the second daughter. So it's got the first daughter and it gets into the air vents.
And it's just in there. So
yep.
Then they open up an air vent and send their dog in.
Yep. And then it just falls down from the fucking like ceiling, and then the angel comes. They had shot the robot again upstairs because it was still alive when they were in the attic, and then they like finished it off up there. And then the bear and the angel come back, and then they basically like destroy the bear and the angel again.
Yeah.
And then the Jack-in-the-Box is like about to like, it's like getting all sad, and then we hear
the aunt comes up and she grabs the shotgun and is the one that kills the angel.
Yeah.
It gets stuck against the wreath. That was a cool cool shot.
And then we hear the elves.
Yeah.
And then the grandma's like, "Oh, it's the elves."
She's just like, elves.
And the fucking Jack-in-the-Box is like clapping.
Yeah. I couldn't stop like laughing.
Yeah, no, the Jack-in-the-Box is my favorite, probably.
Oh, me too.
And then, yeah, just a bunch of fucking elves like come through the window and they like grab Berta from 2.5 Men and they drag her out.
They don't drag her out, they yank her out and it goes, whoop!
Yeah.
It does
they did the same thing when the like chubby kid got yanked up the chimney.
And I love it. I think it's I love it.
I think that's like the one major criticism I have against the film, and it's just a small thing, but I felt like the sound effects were just like a step too far.
I couldn't stop laughing. At least at that one. Maybe the one with the kid was much, but this one, I don't know. The way that she like got lifted up, I think it was just perfect for that sound. Woo!
But yeah, and then David Koechner like quickly like grabs her and gets dragged out there too.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, great. Just uselessly throw yourself out there. Okay, bye, David Koechner." And basically they're like, the elves are about to like, they're surrounding everybody. They're just basically like, "Oh, fuck, this is it." And then the elves are like, we hear like steps upstairs and they're like, "Oh, oh," and they like point and they all like run back out the window. And one of them's like, like definitely like indicating that they're about to get their fucking Christmas desserts. I don't know. But,
and then they hear Krampus coming down. And they're like, we gotta go now!
We gotta get to that broken down snowplow. It's our only chance.
And then the grandmother
stays behind.
And the dad's like, oh, we gotta go. Like, he's gonna go back in, like, through the window. But the son's like, no, she wants to face him!
It's like, alright, whatever. We've already lost so many people.
So then it's just Toni Collette, him,
the one daughter.
One daughter and Max.
Yeah.
So they like
and
make it. What?
The ant.
Is the ant there? Oh, yes, the ant is there.
Yeah.
And then, so they pretty much make it to the snowplow, but then the Tremors guy comes back and just like immediately gets Adam Scott.
And then quickly goes for the ant. And while she's getting down, Toni Collette gets Max and the ant's the cousin like in the car. And then it takes the ant and then it quickly takes Toni Collette.
Yeah, and Toni Collette's like about to be sucked down and she's just like, I love you. And then
yep. And
Max is just like crying. Like,
he's trying, and the cousin's like, start the car. And he's like, I'm trying, it won't start. Plus, I don't know how to drive stick. And it's just like, good point. You're not going anywhere. And then basically the elves show up and they like yank the cousin out of the car. Krampus is like, I think gives him the bell.
He gives him the bell.
And then like leaves. And then Max is like, hey asshole!
Yeah,
I want my fucking family back.
He goes back to Krampus. He's like, give me back my family, you asshole! And then he's like, please, I take back my wish.
And then it seems like it's gonna have that like second where Krampus like he wipes a tear away and it's playing like that very light sentimental music in the background. It's like very light, and then he's just like, then all the elves start laughing and they just toss
and
the cousin
Krampus
in.
like laughs too. He's like, ah.
And then he picks up Max and Max is like, no!
And then he just
drops him because he's just like, I just wanted Christmas to be like it used to. And then wakes up after being dropped into the pit, and he's like,
on Christmas morning?
It's Christmas morning. The family's all happy, and they're like, what's wrong, Max? You seem a little off. And he's like, well...
I guess I just had a bad dream.
And then he opens a present.
And it's the bell.
It's the bell, and everyone sees it, and they're like, oh.
They remember.
And then it zooms out, and they're in a snow globe. And then it zooms out even more.
And house.
And it reminds me of, like, the end shot of the first, like, Jeepers Creepers. It reminded me a lot of like that shot where you go through like Justin Long's eyes and you like creep around the corner through this like murky kind of place where you see where the protagonist's fate ended.
Yeah.
And spoilers for Jeepers Creepers. I'm sorry if you wanted to watch that movie directed by a pedophile. But yeah, so they're in a snow globe and there's a shit ton of snow globes in the Krampus' house.
Yeah.
And looks like they're going to be celebrating Christmas forever.
That's my worst nightmare.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I like this one. It's very self-aware. It's just a fun, corny Christmas horror movie.
I love this movie. This is like one of my favorite Christmas films.
Yeah, I'd probably put it up there. Like, I kind of consider it...
I was a little worried about rewatching it, but I had just as much fun. And I was laughing almost the whole time. But also, there are some, like, relatively good, like, dramatic performances as well from, like, Adam Scott and Toni Collette occasionally.
Yeah, Toni Collette especially. Like, she's a fucking...
And honestly, like, right after she, like, got sucked in, like, Max did a pretty good dramatic performance. Like, just in that scene with the car, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, he had some moments in the movie where I was like, oof, that wasn't very good. But he had other moments where he kind of shined.
He is a pretty good actor, though. He's in Chef. He's the main kid in Chef.
Ah, okay. It's been a while since I've seen Chef, so...
But, yeah, I really don't have much, like, any real problems with the film.
Yeah, the film knows what it wants to be, and it executes it pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
I would give it like a 7 still, but that's just for the type of movie that it is, you know. What? Are you going to give it like a 10?
I'm going to give it a 9.
Oh,
it's what I gave it the first time. It's just like, it's one of like the most fun films that I like.
Yeah, no, it's
just
really
like,
fun.
And because it did it so well, I'm just like, well, cool. 9. So 8 for our average.
Yeah.
This was a good Christmas episode. Well, Miracle wasn't very good, but
yeah,
there were moments, at least for me. Sorry there weren't for you, but at least I feel so happy just because I'm like, wow, last week was awful.
Yeah. Last week there was one
because even though times we've watched bad movies have been like one. Like, we watched Last Living, which was intense, but then we watched one other good movie. And then that last week, we watched 8 movies, and one of them was good, and it was barely good.
Yeah, exactly. This one was a much better improvement. All right. Well, you have classic for this.
I do. Let me pull up my thing. Okay. I would like to watch Stranger Than Paradise by Jim Jarmusch.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can get behind that.
It's available on the Criterion Channel or Canopy for streaming.
Very nice, very nice.
1986, I think. Pretty short, too. 1984. Only 90 minutes.
Nice. Mine is from 2017, according to IMDb.
I'm excited.
It is a Zambia, I think I'm pronouncing that right, /UK/French/German production, directed by Rungano Nyoni, who was born in Zambia. It's like Zambia.
Yeah, it's either Zombie or Zambia.
It's called
I think it's Zambia.
I Am Not a Witch. And it follows an 8-year-old girl named Shula who is accused of witchcraft.
Shit, this is on my watch list already. I haven't been to watch this for a while. Cool.
Yeah.
It's on Canopy as well.
So, yeah. This is my pick for this week.
2 short films this week. That'll be nice.
How long is this one?
90 minutes as well.
Oh, okay.
They're only an hour and a half.
Nice.
Maybe we should watch, like, Showa as well.
Showa
Yeah, that's the 9-hour Holocaust documentary.
Ah!
Just kidding. I wouldn't want to watch that for a podcast where I have to talk about it.
Yeah, that
I
would...
feel like it'd make me incredibly uncomfortable already to watch it, but to talk about it for like an hour,
Yeah.
probably be a little too much.
Perhaps. I'd probably be able to do it, but...
I mean, I could. It's just, I would just feel uncomfortable the whole time. Like, talking about it, I guess.
Yeah, I can see why.
Oh,
I don't think we'd have anything productive to say on the matter.
this was a good movie and very sad.
Well, we could just rate it on the scale of, like, how good of a documentary it
It was
is.
very good because it's 9 hours and that means it's good.
Yeah, automatically. 9 hours and it's good.
Anyway, we hope you have a good Christmas. Even though we don't like it, I at least want people to be happy. Thomas, I'm not really sure. He seems like he might just.
I'm not really sure either.
He's like, I don't know. Do I like people? Do I not? Anyway, I hope you have a good Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, whatever you're celebrating, or nothing. If you're just hanging out, thanks for listening, and I hope you have a good day.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
Don't forget, tell your grandma in these joyous times to sit around the fire, grab a cup of eggnog, and lean back as you listen to the sweet, soothing sounds of me going, Screen Weens, out.